Joseph Goebbels, the propaganda minister for Germany during World War II, famously said, "If you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it." This is basically one of the core principles of advertising that, of course, keeps repeating certain information. Some would say propaganda, in order to mobilize you to buy something or believe in a certain idea or even push you to a certain direction. And I think it's important to understand the bigger play that it has on your subconscious. And that's why I think as a society, it's important to look at advertising and how it's used in the current day, because there's definitely a lot to say about the unison message that is coming out from the corporate world that I think is important to dissect and look into, with, of course, especially this latest Converse ad that just came out a few days ago that, of course, is playing again on woke politics. Jason, do you want to intro this clip or play it?
Yeah, so this one was pretty shocking. Just so people understand, Nike owns Converse and has for some time, but this is just as SJW as it gets. So let's just break it down.
Jason, again, not just Nike. Hurley, Air Jordans, it's a mass, huge corporation that doesn't have the best record out there. And I think it's fair to say predominantly motivated with profit over anything else. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's what this is all about.
There was a young woman who lived in a shoe. She had lots of ambition, intelligence too, but every promotion would go to some hack. So she quit her damn job.
Hold on, stop it right there, Jason. Stop it right there. You're obviously getting a picture here. There's a nice woman, again, making you seem like you're the woman, like you're relatable to him. But then, the corporate world is unfair and all the promotions only go towards the hack, and showing, of course, this like weird kind of Illuminati secret society symbology with puppet masters and the almighty dollar. There's even, I think, a Starbucks like Illuminati cup off there. There's a drone in the left picture. I mean, this is very occult from the very beginning, but again, plays on a big kind of misconception of that women. There's a pay gap between women and men, which has been exposed to be untrue on many different levels and many different instances. That's what I gathered from this one. Anything else, or just play it?
Well, no, I was pretty upset by this one because it's like, oh, so it's only an attractive black woman who gets overrun from promotions when she has a good idea. And obviously, they're trying to show you that men are in power, with the two main puppets being older men. And then off into the side, if you see here, there is just one corporate woman that seems to also be holding her down. Okay, but she's a white woman, by the way. She's got the bun in her hair. She's being oppressed by the man. The promotions are going to these men.
Again, also playing on racial divisions, white hands, white faces against the black woman. Again, the corporate world does deserve a lot of scrutiny. There's a lot of things to say about people just worshiping the dollar, but to just, again, try to divide and conquer people on those basic elements, you're doing a big disservice to the corporate world that is broken, that is screwed up, and it's not, again, the corporate world, by the way, Jason, Boeing, Goldman Sachs, military-industrial complexes, the top corporations are the ones pushing inclusivity, gender politics more than ever. We've seen major announcement made by criminals in Goldman Sachs saying, no, women are the future. Boeing, that creates bombs and weapons, military-industrial complex. Women are the future. We're pro-LGBTQ, pro-trannies, pro-everything. And I'm like, okay, this is a corporate agenda. Let's just admit that from the very beginning, and let's not say that it's the corporate overlord just trying to squash you. It's trying to squash everyone down. Let's just get that out there in the world. If that's my personal interpretation of it. Let's just go from there.
There's one more thing here. You were talking about the Illuminati symbolism, and if you look at the latte cup, by the way, you notice?
Yeah, it has an Illuminati triangle on there.
Well, they also have the eye closed, and you can clearly see the eyelashes to represent the women. Again, the women are being oppressed. They're not allowed to be as woke as the men, as top of the triangle as the men. They're being oppressed. So let's get to the next section of this. We have another story about how men are basically terrible.
And didn't look back.
There was a young woman who lived in a shoe. She didn't have time to be told what to do. She traveled the world and had no plans to wed. It was her right to choose the life that...
Pause it right there. Again, telling you the birth strike information that we broke down a couple days ago on this channel. No. She's a woman, and she's going to, of course, do what women are supposed to do now, and not take any lip from anybody, not be told what to do, travel the world, and not have a family. Not have a family. Again, the corporate messaging is so clear and so in line. It just keeps getting repeated, and obviously here they're just blatant about it. Like, no, she's not going to have a family. She's a woman. I'm like, that's a different kind of opinion, and it's a different kind of ideology that, of course, you're very strongly laying on there.
And, I want to go over some of the symbolism in this imagery as we go through, because, again, who would say that it's bad for a woman to travel or be independent or choose not to marry? I don't think that those things are looked down upon in society. I think that most people accept that, sure, if that's what you want to do, great. I don't need a sneaker to tell me so. But
exactly, it's a corporate sneaker company trying to make money, again, trying to push this agenda. And again, I'm a huge proponent of traveling, of finding yourself, of being free. But look at the top image right there. There's a guy proposing with the ring, and a woman, I think she's like, flipping him off?
No, she's waving by. I didn't want to do that, but she's waving by. I want to go back into there because there's a lot of imagery that I really do think that needs to get dissected. Notice, she's very powerful. Now, no woman we have seen so far at all, Luke, at all of the four, and then the background women are wearing a dress. They are all wearing pants. Every single one of them, okay? Even the one that's saying no. Then you look at the two women that are featured in the front, the person that's driving the car and the person that's riding shotgun. They both have short hair. Again, empowerment. We're not going to live by your norms in society. And who's in the back seat? Who's looking kind of goofy? The more traditional woman, still not wearing a dress, but she's got the long hair, and she's basically made to look the most beta out of all of them and the least appealing. See, you want to be in the front. The colored woman is, staring at you, being like, hey, look at how cool we are. The other one's just kind of like, hey, I'm like Johnny Depp in the sunset. I'm driving. Yeah. The other one's walking off. It's just crazy to me.
Exactly.
How much.
Men are here. This is the message that they're getting. Men are here to oppress you. Don't be oppressed by them. Be free. Again, we have to understand the history and the context here, because the modern kind of feminist, not the modern, the kind of first initial aspects of the feminist movement were pretty much sold to smoke cigarettes to show their independence as a form of propaganda that has been written into this country's fabric. Again, the propaganda is very, very, very severe here, and it's multifaceted, and it needs to be, of course, understood on many different levels. But again, showing you the world's cruel, the corporate world's cruel, men are holding you down, screw men, you don't need them. Again, trying to, of course, break down the harmonious kind of relationships that are healthy between a man and a woman that work together and respect each other. But no, this is not about respect. This is not about working out our problems and differences together. This is about pushing us away from each other, seeing each other as enemies. And it's something that's wrong, in my opinion. Let's keep going.
There was a young woman who lived in a shoe. She was called every name, even a shrew. But this little queen could not care less, because she had better things to do than listen to pathetic trolls scream at her for being a smart, confident woman.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. Hold it right there. Hold it right there. Now, again, people on the internet say really mean stuff. I get that I'm a love child of Bill Maher and Vladimir Putin, that I have a big nose. I get death threats. I get harassed. It's okay. This is the kind of landscape of the internet that we're dealing with. And yes, if someone goes and attacks you just for being a woman, they're stupid. I think we all agree on that. But they're being very specific here because, again, a lot of the bigger things that we have been seeing is that any kind of just conversation that contradicts their narrative is automatically seen as harassment, as targeted, and that's not true. There does deserve to be a bigger discussion here about, online epithets, but we have to understand, because someone doesn't agree or subscribe to your ideology doesn't make him a bigot, doesn't make it a hateful person, and you're not going to open people up to your ideology by seeing everyone as an enemy when they simply disagree with you, and this is kind of what I believe is the bigger representation here.
Well, again, who is attacking somebody because they're a strong, powerful, independent woman on social media? Like, who does that? First of all the people that were portrayed in this are attractive. They're physically attractive, right, Luke? So the people that would be attacking them, they wouldn't be guys, because most guys are going to be nice to attractive women. Let's be honest. Most guys are shallow. So all of this is perpetrated in kind of a false narrative. Then you look again at the imagery here, And although, she's being attacked by a guy and a girl, notice that the woman is still treated more lightly. There's a
blonde hair, blue-eyed, white, crazy pig people.
Well, exactly. Men are pigs. Men are pigs, women are not. So even though this woman over here is attacking her, notice that there's still a butterfly, still better than a man. The men in this are all portrayed just poorly. Remember, the women don't wear dresses. The woman who is portrayed most like a traditional woman is in the back seat behind other women, and everybody else is superior to her. So again, this is just division. And again, I don't know why I would ever attack somebody for wanting to travel, wanting to find themselves, not wanting to get married, or being powerful. There are plenty of men who are also, listen, I'm not even that white, but there are plenty of white men that just don't have the connections that the boss's nephew has or whatnot. They get passed over for promotions too. I'm not saying there isn't sexism in the workplace. That absolutely occurs as well. But a sneaker commercial doesn't need to be telling me this and so blatantly attack masculinity.
Yeah, Jason, play that last couple sentences again, and let's end this off, and let's end this clip. Let's take a full look at it. And I sent you some articles to pull up after that.
Could not care less, because she had better things to do than listen to pathetic trolls scream at her for being a smart, confident woman.
And there it is. She had better things to do.
Pathetic trolls for being a smart, confident woman. If you're a smart, confident woman, you're attractive. You're awesome. I have nothing against a smart, confident woman. We need smart, confident women. That's not the problem here. I don't think that's an argument that anyone would make. Oh, you're a smart, confident. We hate. Come on. Let's just be real here. This is meant to push the divide. I sent you some articles that I've been saving and I wanted to talk about for a while because, again, this is subconscious propaganda. Let's just call it out for what it is. This has a huge effect on your behavior. Your subconscious is very, very integral to how you act as a human being. And it's important to understand here that this is coordinated. This is not just Converse. This is not just Nike. This is not just Goldman Sachs. This is not just Boeing. This is not just the U.S. government. High elements in there. Also, the CIA. We're going to be inclusive now, pushing the same kind of LGBTQ, diverse, all that, and that's fine on its own merits. But it's being used and weaponized against you in what I personally believe. I think you could even make a stretch here that it's used as a form of control because, as new data is showing, more than half of young people in America don't have a romantic partner. There's also new data coming out that young men are giving up on marriages. And of course, the larger correlation here, which I want to bring to later, when you don't have good, harmonious, respectful relationships between men and women, where we respect each other and love each other and have a good household and raise a kid together, you don't have a strong family unit. And when you don't have that, you have individuals who hate each other, who are divided and conquered, never see the problem, have to fight against each other, and have to be dependent on the corporate government overlord to sustain each other. Because again, they created such a financial situation where it's no longer one member of the household that could sustain a family. That's, I believe, done on purpose economically to exploit people, but also by and large to cause more problems. And of course, a lot of problems have been created in the household within families because of financial issues. They've been putting the squeeze on us, the social controllers, the big corporatocracy on us, and at the same time, they're telling us these kind of messages, which I believe are very, very detrimental because as we're seeing the side effects, we're seeing depression among Generation Z, which are the biggest kind of open eyes towards this propaganda, skyrocket. Again, we're seeing more mental health issues coming up more than ever before when we're living in statistically one of the best times. But I believe this propaganda is a big proponent to it because when you don't have a strong family unit, when you don't have a loving, caring mom and father working together harmoniously, when a child grows up in a single parent household, the statistics prove for themselves where that child is going to go in our society. And it's not a good path. It's a path of more likelihood of criminal violence, more likelihood of jail, more likelihood of just a pathway towards abuse, drug use, and other horrible instances. And when you are running a system, when you're running a farm, you don't want the strong people having each other's backs, having a family unit who are able to defend themselves and who are able to, of course, call out your bullcrap when you're just exploiting and using them and taking advantage of them, like mass corporations do. Again, this is laughable to me in many instances, but just in all, coming from Nike, a corporation that's been synonymous with slave labor, forced overtime, and arbitrary abuse. I mean, there's even columnists that came out on the record and said that, quote, Nike represents not only everything that's wrong with sports, but everything that's wrong with the world. Now, of course, Nike has been doing a lot of PR and a lot of other things to counter those slave labor facilities and factories they had. But overall, at the end of the day, they care about a profit. And the more we're divided, the more we're dependent on somebody else, the more we're not harmonious, the more we need useless crap to fill our void of our human potential. Now, that's a lot to digest here, Jason. I'm sorry for going on a rant here, but this is just stream of consciousness, me talking about my own personal beliefs and ideas. I don't know how you're going to top that or say anything else to that, Jason, so I apologize.
I'm not going to top anything. I'm going to tell people that we're doing 4 videos a week. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Smash the thumbs up button. Make sure you ring the bell to get the notifications. Support us by grabbing t-shirts, being a member on YouTube, joining the newsletter, but most importantly, being the change you want to see in the world.